A serial killer just sent a letter to the newspaper. And it's not a confession, it's a warning. He says he's coming back. One night, midnight, and he'll take anyone he wants, unless there's jazz playing inside your house. The whole city reads it over their morning coffee. And now the whole city has a choice to make: play music, or pray you're not the one he picks. I'm Cole, and this is Midnight Files. It's the spring of 1918, New Orleans, Louisiana. A city of music and food and crowded little corner stores run by Italian families who came here with almost nothing and built a life out of it. By day, it's loud and warm and alive. But at night, something starts moving through those streets. May 23, 1918. A grocer named Joseph Maggio and his wife Catherine are asleep above their store on the corner of Upper Line and Magnolia. They're just like everybody else in the neighborhood. They work all day, they lock up, they go to bed. And in the morning, they're found in that bed, their throats cut. On the floor, there's a bloody axe, and here's the first strange thing about this man: the axe isn't his. It belongs to the Maggios. He didn't bring a weapon into that house. He used theirs. The police look closer and they find how he got in. Around the back, a small panel has been carefully cut out of the wooden door with a chisel, just big enough to reach through and unlock it. No broken windows, no noise. He let himself in while they slept. And then he was gone. At first, the city tells itself it's a one-time thing, a robbery, something personal. But it isn't. Because it happens again and again, always the same way: the chisel, the back door, the family's own axe, and almost always, an Italian grocer and his family, asleep, with no idea anyone is in the house. A few survive. That summer, a pregnant woman named Mrs. Schneider is attacked in her bed and lives. But she can't tell them much. None of them can. He comes in the dark, and he's gone before anyone really sees him. A retired detective named John Dantonio looks at all of it and says something that crawls under everybody's skin. This man, he says, isn't killing for money. He isn't killing for revenge. He might be a perfectly ordinary man, a neighbor, somebody you'd nod to on the street, somebody normal in the daylight, who, when the urge takes him, becomes something else entirely. A real-life Jekyll and Hyde. And that's the thing that breaks the city. Because now there's no profile, no motive, no type of person to watch out for. It could be anyone. People stop sleeping. Men sit up all night in their front rooms with shotguns across their laps. Folks start finding axes in their own backyards and calling the police in a panic. Everywhere, people swear they've seen him. A shape on the corner, a figure standing at the edge of a streetlight. There, then gone. The whole city is holding its breath. And then it gets worse. March 10th, 1919. He gets into the home of a grocer named Charles Cortiglia. Charles and his wife Rosie are attacked, and they survive it. Their little girl does not. She was 2 years old. That's the moment New Orleans goes from frightened to terrified. And then, just a few days later, the killer does something no one expects. He writes a letter. It lands at the offices of the Times-Picayune, the city's biggest newspaper. And at the top, instead of an address, it's dated from one place: hell. The paper prints it, and people read it standing in the street, hands shaking. They have never caught me, it says, and they never will. They have never seen me, for I am invisible. He tells them he is not a man at all. He is a spirit and a fell demon from the hottest hell. And then comes the part nobody can believe. He says he's coming back. A specific night. The night of March 19th. 15 minutes past midnight. And he is going to swing his axe again. But, he writes, he'll make them a deal. Because he happens to love one thing in this world: jazz. He swears that any home, any dance hall, any room where a jazz band is playing in full swing at that exact moment, he will pass right by. Everyone inside will be spared. And anyone who doesn't, well, as he puts it, they'll get the axe. Now think about what that does to a city. You've got a killer who's already murdered people in their sleep. who's already killed a child, and he's just told you, in the newspaper, the exact night and the exact minute he's coming, and given you one way out. So what does New Orleans do? It plays. When the night of March 19th comes, the dance halls fill up until there's no room left to stand. Bands set up in cafes, in bars, in parlors, in living rooms across the city. People who can't hire a band just crank up whatever they've got. Wherever jazz can possibly be playing in New Orleans that night, it is playing, loud, all night long. And there's a defiant streak in this town too. A few reporters at the paper actually write the Axeman a mocking invitation. Come to our party, they say. The door will be wide open. You won't even need your chisel. The clock hits midnight, then 1:15. And not a single person is killed. A local composer is so caught up in it that he sits down and writes a song about it. The mysterious Axeman's Jazz. Finished, the story goes, in the small hours of that very night, once he was sure the Axeman wasn't coming for him. The city exhales. Maybe it's over. Maybe the music worked. Maybe he got what he wanted. It is not over. The attacks keep coming through that year. And then, on October 27th, 1919, comes the last one anyone can pin on him. A grocer named Pepitone is asleep in his home. His wife wakes up to a sound in the dark. She gets up, moves toward his bedroom, and reaches the doorway just in time. There's a man standing there, a big man, an axe in his hand, and he's already turning to run. Her husband has been struck in the head. The blood is everywhere, across the walls, across the floor, even across a painting of the Virgin Mary hanging in that room. She's the mother of 6 children, and after everything, after coming face to face with him, the only thing she can tell the police about the man who did it is that he was large. That's all. That's everything anyone ever got. Because after Pepitone, the Axeman of New Orleans simply stops. No final letter, no last warning, no body that ties it all together. He came out of the dark in 1918, and in the fall of 1919, he walked right back into it and never came out again. There were names whispered over the years. A suspect or two that fit, sort of, if you tilted your head. And there's one strange final chapter, about a year later, all the way out in Los Angeles, where a woman, said to be the widow of that last victim, walks up to a man on the street in broad daylight and shoots him dead. She tells the police he was the Axeman, the one who killed her husband. But it was never proven. It never went anywhere. And officially, to this very day, the case is still open, still unsolved. More than 100 years later, nobody knows who he was. Nobody knows why he chose those families. Nobody knows why he stopped. And nobody knows if that night, the night the whole city played jazz to stay alive, actually saved a single life, or if the man who called himself a demon was just standing somewhere in the dark, listening.